Welcome to another episode of Pods and Pie. Today we have Tyler Feulner, Douglas Distributing, aka Douglas Coffee Roasters, aka
DouglasCoffee.com.
DouglasCoffee.com. DouglasCoffee.com.
Last name DouglasCoffee.com.
Yeah.
And to put a little context, the pies is easy, right? We do pizza every time.
Right.
But the pods, what we talked about before the show was just, this whole office is made out of storage containers, pods, right? If you can't tell, obviously with the video, this is inside of a shipping container that was sent probably to China half dozen times and across the world.
This is pre-corona.
Yeah, this is pre-corona pod.
Yeah.
So
his walls are corona free.
They should put a little, I think for the first few things that we throw out there, we might explain it just a couple times how this really is the setup.
Yeah. Today's episode brought to you by our friends over at Little Skeezers. Hot and ready.
Our first episode we had.
Did somebody already
I would
dip
say
into
maybe
that pie?
I'd say a little bit of an upgrade.
Or did
They have.
Or did they give you?
Oh, by the way, I was too hungry when you dropped off the pizza, and I came up and ate a slice. So that's why it's a
I
slice
was thinking
short.
maybe you had that
We're down one.
Grubhub delivery, and he dipped in on the way over here, like you would on your
First
Chick-fil-A
episode
fries.
was we bought Summit Inn Pizza. Have you had the Summit Inn Pizza up there?
Yeah.
No, I love that pizza.
So good.
But
I asked Ty what he wanted, and his first reply was like
just a pep.
Chuck E. Cheese.
No, Round Table.
Was that your first one? Round Table.
I don't remember.
Like Round Table out in Sandy, right?
I don't even think they exist anymore.
Yeah,
Maybe
which is now Rock
Godfathers. Yeah, which is now Rock Creek, which I don't even think that's there anymore. Godfathers.
That was like dine-in
That
pizza.
was dine-in.
That was back when Pizza Hut and Godfathers would do
Yeah.
dine-in pizza.
Yeah, it was Round Table. Which it moved to Rock Creek, which I don't know if it's still there anymore.
You didn't take my request for Little Caesar very serious, though.
No, I thought you were just.
It's great. It's great value. It's great value.
Yeah, but they're hot and ready, dude. Just hot and ready. Now it's
Ready to
cold.
go.
It's still ready. It's just a little cold.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's better cold.
Yeah.
All right, before we jump into it, tell me your top 3 energy drinks.
Oh, man. Classic sugar-free Red Bull, number one.
Number one. Okay.
Interesting.
I don't get them as often as I'd like because they're so expensive
Yes.
for what you get. 8 ounces for $99. And so, but I have a case of those in the fridge at home right now.
Okay.
And then classic white Monster, and then probably a sugar-free Rockstar.
This episode is also brought to you by Monster.
Yeah, Monster. I have it in my koozie.
Perfect.
This is a must.
Yeah.
If you do any type of energy drink,
this
thing is a must.
See?
But it's top.
And
I
that's
don't
a
go
tall
anywhere
boy
without
koozie.
it.
Tall
It
boy
is.
koozie.
But can we, real quick before we get into this, is there a way that we can explain why this particular Monster, the White Monster, why is it just the best one that they make? Because they have like, the
many
Rojos and
Yeah.
the Reds. And originally, I did hear, and I don't know if this is true, but this was designed originally to market and cater to women. Because if you look at the can, it's got this texture and it's got a really cool design. It's not like a masculine
frilly.
design.
Yeah, it's a little
and anyway, I don't know if that's true,
probably
but
true.
it just turned into like literally the best drink that they make is that drink.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to explain it.
Smooth.
It
Goes
is.
down easy. You can chug one as fast as you can chug a water bottle.
You really can.
You can. Yeah. And if it was even less carbonation, then it would be dangerous. You could do 50 ounces in like 3 hours.
Yeah.
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 But instead, we do 50 ounces in like 6 hours.
Yeah, that's true. Before noon, if I go 4 Monsters before noon, I get a little.
Yeah.
Like I don't tell anybody.
Yeah.
Like I don't care personally. I just don't mention it.
Right.
Because I just don't want the looks.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, what? You did 4 before noon? Like, well, that's nothing, but I just don't want you to judge me.
Right.
But, yeah.
All right, so give us the history on Tyler Feulner, right? Where you grew up, went to school, and then lead us down that path how we got started at Douglas. 'Cause I know you started at Douglas when you were like 3
Yes. Maybe
with child labor.
maybe even 2. Correct.
And Douglas is located, where's the headquarters, like where's the office?
Yeah, our office building is out kind of by the Maverick Center on the west side of I-215, basically directly across the freeway staring at Franklin Covey. So that's our location. Grew up, born and raised Utah. Lived in Sandy and Draper my whole life. Yeah, grew up always working for the family business. So Douglas is a family business. I'm the third generation. Started by my grandpa in the late 60s, early 70s. He came from Seattle, where he got into the coffee market up there, and kind of decided he wanted to be back home in Utah. They'd had their first kid, so he and his wife, my grandma, moved back here.
Do you know how he got into that? Like, how that came about?
Why he started doing... I don't really recall what took him up to Seattle. I think it was just the job, and the company was called Commercial Importing. And so I think they did stuff other than coffee, but he ended up managing the coffee side of their business. And it was like a pretty big business up there, this Commercial Importing, and they did like a lot of different stuff. And so he managed like the coffee category. And they had like a lot of like the original coffee companies from the Northwest that they dealt with. And obviously distributed throughout, the Washington, Oregon, east, western Montana area, northern Cal, that kind of stuff was, I think, their reach. And then grandma wanted to be back home, so he kind of gave up the job there and came here and decided to start his own. So he got with one of his buddies, and they started roasting and packing coffee here in town, and then brought his connections from some of the coffee companies they were buying from up at Commercial Importing in the Seattle area.
When he was
back down
roasting,
here.
was it Douglas at that time?
No, it was J&D.
J&D.
Was what it was called.
Okay.
Because his buddy's last name was Johnson, he was Douglas.
Okay.
So that kind of emerged into them being a restaurant, supply, and then office coffee started being a thing, and convenience stores started opening up more to like the person filling up for gas. The inside of a convenience store used to just be oil, antifreeze, that kind of stuff, and a few snacks, and then they really started turning those into like storefronts. So then the coffee kind of became a big part of that. So that emerged in like the 80s. But he parted ways with his buddy because they liked different segments of the business. So his friend liked the restaurant side of it, and my grandpa didn't like that very much because it was a lot of like late night phone calls, emergency deliveries, weekends, equipment would break at the worst possible time, just sit down for like Sunday dinner, and a big hotel's got a banquet going and their machine's down and they're calling you and you got to go fix it. And so I think he got a little tired of like their hours and wanted just more normal bank type hours. And so he kind of took off and started doing more convenience store and office coffee, and just more stuff that was open normal Monday through Friday 8 to 5. And so that was where they split ways. And then his friend ended up getting out of the business entirely, and he bought his half back out and got all the restaurants back after they were a little bigger and didn't have to manage all the calls himself.
And this was your grandpa?
That was grandpa, yeah.
Yeah, what year, do you know like what year?
Yeah, so he officially started Douglas in 75 was when he parted ways. So they'd started the J&D in like the late 60s, it was like 68, and then lasted like 7-8 years, and then in 75 he started Douglas. That's when they branched off, and then I think in the early 80s he kind of reacquired the split off company, the original J&D.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so there's paperwork even until like maybe a couple of years ago we did a clean out with like J&D,
Oh, really?
like letterhead on it and stuff. I was like, oh my gosh, well, this stuff's like 30 years old, 40 years old.
Got to frame that stuff.
Frame it up.
Okay, so
yeah.
they split ways. Douglas starts.
Douglas starts. My dad gets
Grandpa
involved.
is killing it. When does your dad, Ron,
Grandpa's
when does he
doing-
come into play?
Doing well, seems to be making good money. My dad's deciding that.
And this is your mom's dad, though,
Mom's
right?
dad,
Okay.
correct. So mom's dad, and so my dad being the son-in-law, had just graduated from the University of Utah in marketing and got a job in Atlanta. And so they were getting ready to move to Atlanta. I think I was like 1 or 2 at that point. So this is like early 80s, like 84, 85. And so when they decided they were going to move away, my grandpa came to my dad and said, hey, before you make this final decision on moving, across the country, do you want to come look at the family business? And he
And
had
does Grandpa have any other
he has two
sons?
Yeah,
Okay, 2 sons.
older
They're
and younger than my mom.
Involved, not involved?
The older one not involved. The younger one was too young to be involved at
Okay.
that point. So, yeah, my dad went in, looked at the business, and was like, "Wow, this is pretty cool." The margins were really good back then. The equipment was really inexpensive for coffee, like in an office or, convenience store. You could typically make your ROI would be almost on the first delivery. So you would be able to pay for the piece of equipment you loaned them. So the goal was to give them a piece of equipment and maintain it and fix it for them as long as they were residually buying the coffee from you. So that's the business model. But at that point, the equipment was reasonably priced. So the return on investment was huge. So you acquire an account, you give them a machine, they're super pumped to get a piece of commercial grade equipment, they buy coffee, and away they go. So it was pretty sweet. And then as my grandpa kind of started to fade out in the late 80s, early 90s, my dad bought him out in like 92. And then convenience stores really started to take a big jump at that point and really create big storefronts. And you started to see like Maverick get involved. That was like late 80s, early 90s. And just building bigger stores with more to offer. And Holiday Oil has been like a 40-year partner. And so we've always done their coffee since they started doing coffee. And they really started to pay attention to those storefronts. So that was a big push for the company, was to maintain all of that business.
And so like a Maverick or a gas station, right?
Yeah.
I mean, how do the people that run those gas stations and look at all the items and whatever they're selling inside, they look at the coffee, do they really take it serious about we need people to come? I mean, our coffee's got to be top notch because we want them to come in just to get the coffee. So the coffee is a serious purchase.
It is.
Not just like give us the cheap stuff. I mean, people are going to come in anyway, but they take the coffee serious.
And things have changed a little bit on that. So I would think like originally it was like obviously have it as a draw, have it as a reason for somebody to stop here, maybe in like the 90s and stuff. But as like coffee and like Starbucks kind of exploded onto the scene, right, in the 90s with so many locations, and then you get a lot of like small roasters that are opening up coffee shops and stuff like that. The convenience stores, and then McDonald's opens up the McCafe menu. So
Yeah,
you get,
exactly.
like, 50-ounce coffees for 99 cents or whatever obscene
Yeah,
they're giving
yeah,
away
yeah.
at whatever time. And their stuff is like prepped, it's like coffee. It's like a hybrid between like self-serve coffee that you get at a convenience store and like a coffee shop. McDonald's kind of lands in the middle, where it's like somewhat prepped and somewhat done up, but it's not like coffee shop quality, I would say. But it's more hands-on than what you get like in a convenience store. And so the convenience stores really started to have to take it serious again and say, okay, we need to up our quality. We need to up the look of the coffee bar because there's so many options now. You've got local, like a Beans and Brews. You've got national, like a Starbucks.
Yeah, because it's not just the coffee taste of the coffee itself.
Right.
It's the presentation you're saying, right?
Presentation,
And you guys would be
experience.
loaning them the machines.
Yep, all the equipment.
So when you say coffee bar, you're talking what it looks like when you just come in, right?
Yeah,
and you're
hot
getting your coffee.
chocolate,
Yeah.
machines, the creamers, the racks, the cup holders, the cups, the whole thing's got to tie together, all the graphics that go into it. So that's where like when my dad stepped in the early 80s and started looking at like the margin and was like, yeah, you drop off. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen him. Like, you'll occasionally see him in a movie. I watched Walter Mitty like a couple months back, and in the break room at Time Magazine where he was working, they had like an old school Bunn coffee maker that has like the wood grain panels on it, like the original gangster of coffee. It was like pour over, you don't even hook water up to them, you pour the water in the top and it heats it and displaces the old heated water with the new water, makes a pot of coffee. That was in like that movie. You still see them around and stuff. That was like what originally got set up. But then, so originally your margin was like amazing because you were loaning equipment at a reasonable price and getting good margin on the coffee. As stuff changes, the equipment gets astronomically expensive. So we go
you're
from
going pour overs
to touch screens,
right? Yeah.
grinders on top, like the whole.
Yeah.
Now like a convenience store, and convenience store is like a fraction of what we do, but it's a really interesting industry because it's had so many changes. But they have gone from this, kind of originally podunk setup to just like, oh yeah, we got some good coffee, come in, get gas, get a coffee, on your way, to like a serious coffee bar, you're now looking at like setting up a coffee equipment with marketing and all that kind of stuff with an ROI of like hopefully less than a year. To whereas before, like in the 80s, you were covering your equipment costs typically on the first order or two within 30 days. So you 12x, 15x your ROI on equipment setup, and your level of competition through the roof. You know, everybody's tripping over each other to get the business. Everybody's
So it's a cutthroat. I mean,
cutthroat.
it's
Just like anything, you know, it's not like we're any different than any other industry. There's a lot of competition. There's money to be made.
And coffee, like people who make the decision, coffee drinkers they're loyal.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Right. If they find somebody that gives them a good cup.
Yep. So you can definitely
They
count
wanna
on
stick
people
with
to
it.
be back, and you can also expect people to not come back if it's not good.
Yeah.
So you got to be careful. You know, you produce a product that hits a price point, but not a point on the palate.
Yeah.
Per se, you run the risk of
Yeah,
like
that's-
selling one cup and never again. But you want return.
yeah. You got to get them to come
drinkers.
back.
You gotta get them to come back over and over and over. So
Yeah. I'm the same way with donuts.
yeah.
Dude, I'm serious.
Bad donut,
Dude,
never again.
if you have bad donuts at a gas station, trust me, I will probably. I can get a Monster anywhere.
Yeah.
But if you have bad donuts, I probably will not come back.
Yeah. Makes sense.
So
yeah, and then we emerged with like other industries like hotels, office coffee's obviously been a big thing with like offices getting more and more involved in the like the environment,
like employee benefit. I mean, it's almost like
benefits.
like
The
foods.
Google,
Yeah,
yes, the
You're-
Google, the .com boom in the late '90s.
like here at the Silicon Slopes. I mean, they're
Now
building
pods.
cafeterias in every office.
Yep.
Yeah.
You want
Cafeterias,
it
ping
all.
pong
Gyms,
tables.
yeah, basketball courts, whatever you want, whenever you want it. So that's been a really cool thing to emerge with like companies like Adobe, and now Facebook's out on the west side of Utah Lake, and Ancestry.com, and Vivint does a really good job. Like a lot of these companies, they take like extreme care with those employee perks and stuff. So that's something that's definitely like been a good push. But we're still dealing with the same problems. The equipment's getting more and more expensive, more and more computer integrated, less easy to fix because it's like cars. You know, you used to be able to like easy change oil on an older car, and now you like open up the hood and it's like, do you have
Yeah, that's right.
And that's how a lot of the equipment's becoming. Like our guys have to use laptops to test, and
That's
that kind of
interesting.
stuff.
That's
And
crazy.
yeah, and all those wires and touchpads just drive that cost through the roof.
And hey, real quick side question. You can see can you tell me where did this come from? The actual I know the name, but where did the logo
Douglas from Grandpa. His name was Leo.
Yeah.
So Leo the Lion was like his thing.
Oh, really?
Kind of
Okay, Leo the Lion. Yeah.
And he always had like his house, like where he started the company, was up above skyline out of his garage. He lived like in Olympus Cove, and so that's where his first orders came to, pallets of coffee when he was distributing First On. They bring it in there and warehouse it in his garage.
Because this is like a dude holding a cup of coffee with a crown,
Yeah.
riding a lion.
Yep. So Leo the Lion was kind of his
King
thing.
of the jungle, baby.
We've always had a lion,
Yeah.
logo, and for a long time it was Douglas Distributing and the lion logo. And so as I got more and more involved, like in the early 2000s, like 2003, 4, I started to recognize like our logo doesn't really do us any favors. Douglas Distributing, and then you look at the logo and you maybe think we're like in the zoo, business, maybe large cat, distribution. It's like, why is there a Douglas Distributing and a lion logo? Like, what does that mean?
Tyler Exotic.
Yeah, exactly. Ty Exotic coming at you. So that was like a big problem I had with like our marketing and branding, was that we didn't let anyone know who we were and what we were selling. And so that's when we morphed it back to like kind of the original, when they were roasting and packing and all that originally, like in the 60s, we wanted to incorporate coffee back into the name again. And so we kind of reintroduced it as Douglas Coffee Roasters. We morphed the head of a lion logo into this. And we just kind of looked at it as like generational, speed, efficiency. Wanted something timeless. Something was cool, but something that had enough elements that like people
Still
take
with a
pause and
lion.
look at it and they're like, "Well, what's going on here?" So so with Generations, the up and coming, kid with the crown, kind of like the next generation,
Yeah.
hopefully, longevity family.
So remind me again, what and if you said it already, let's repeat it one more time. What's your position at Douglas? Like what do you actually, if you have an official title?
Right.
So I know some people
Yeah.
don't like titles, but just to
Yeah.
put it in context, what do you?
So my dad, Ron, still involved, president and majority owner. So I would be like general manager or VP or whatever you want to call it, and part owner.
Okay.
So,
But then as with small businesses, you are running your marketing department, your HR department, your
Yes.
purchasing department, like
And
So
the
it-
janitorial services.
your hat
Yeah.
is in every.
Yeah.
But are you wearing all those hats, or do you actually have people that do those, but you're still
Yeah.
just overseeing basically the whole operation?
Yeah, I definitely see. I try to buffer as much as I can from Ron to handle, as many fires as I can. And we obviously have, we have a really great warehouse manager. We have a great route supervisor that handle like the deliveries, making sure product in and out is going well. We just recently got more involved with like our social media and stuff. So we have a full-time social media person now that's handling like our content creation, getting more involved in the website and the direct to consumer sales has been a big push for us because we want our brand to be, our bread and butter is definitely like going out and working with businesses, working with a restaurant or a hotel or whatever to gain their trust, install equipment, have our coffee go through there. But the more familiar people are with the brand, it breaks down barriers for us. So being like in Harmon's grocery stores is a great breakdown of that barrier because people see the logo, they see the coffee, they're more familiar with it, and it's less of an introduction when I go in for a meeting with somebody. They're like, oh yeah, I've had your coffee, I picked it up at Harmon's, or oh, I saw you at XYZ place. Just as many points of contact as you can have with the general public, the more opportunities you have to kind of break down those barriers.
So how many employees total?
So total right now we have 15
Okay.
in Salt Lake, and then we have a second branch in Portland. So yeah, the Portland one.
So that's just that's not a big operation.
No, not huge.
I mean, so you have to be efficient.
Yeah,
I mean, just
we're definitely lean and mean.
Yeah.
And we could be, we've had as many as 25. So we currently have 15 in Salt Lake and 5 in Portland. And then Portland mostly manages the Northwest. So I go up there every other week and manage that.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, for a 55-year-old company, from when your grandpa
Right.
bought it,
Totally.
right? I mean, or more than that. I
Yeah.
mean, coming up that's that just, I don't know. I mean, some people would say like, oh, maybe why isn't it bigger?
Totally.
But at the same time,
I say that.
to last 55 years,
Is
coffee,
hard.
and then you to stay lean because of margins and all the things you've explained.
Totally.
It on the surface, it seems very impressive to me.
Yeah.
Of that few people, and you're lasting that long in the industry.
Right. And I've had that same question. Like I see companies that are 3 years old and have 100 employees and they're doing 20 million in revenue or something. And you're just like, how? And I'm sitting there going, what? Obviously now you start pointing the finger at this guy being more involved, but I'm sitting there going, Grandpa,
Well,
Ron,
what would
Dad,
why?
what were you doing all day?
Yeah. Well, why wouldn't? What does it take? What do they do? I mean, do they raise money?
Right.
Do they have a shitty like coffee bean? I mean, like what? And so they make more money. I don't know. Like, what is the difference?
Right. So I would say the biggest difference, and this is the path that we've kind of changed, not even different paths, but we've like kind of jumped from one set of railroad tracks to another. In that, even Danny having experience, Danny is an ex-Douglas employee. Spent some time at Douglas.
Well, yeah, a little experience there.
Correct.
So
yeah.
he knows this.
I know this.
And
Did you
Danny
used
and
to?
I-
What did you do there? What was your? Were you the janitor?
Yeah.
We all are janitors.
We all
You're all the janitors. Okay,
We
so
all
you
took turns cleaning the
you were.
bathrooms. I did deliveries. I managed the warehouse. I managed. I got into sales and was doing. I did from A to B or B. Yeah,
Or
that's
to
probably
Z.
about it. Actually, probably
Yeah.
A to B. A to Z. Small business. Like
All
I
of
said,
it,
we all
yeah.
just kind of did all of
Yeah.
it.
Danny came on just doing kind of like in between gigs, just ran some deliveries for us because we were shorthanded and ended up liking it And we liked Danny, and his work ethic was like great. And then it kind of morphed into like, yeah, full-time gig and just helping us grow the company and managing sales. We still have a ton of accounts that Danny put on, during that stint.
That's good,
there.
man.
So
That's
some
good.
good stuff. But in that time, Danny knows this because we used to have conversations all the time about where does this go? What's that next level jump? How do you change things? Because as like a local distributor of coffee, over the years, we basically became less of a roaster and more of a distributor. So we were more bringing in national products.
Yeah, okay.
And redistributing those and having connections with like a Starbucks, right? We were their preferred coffee provider for Utah. So Starbucks would send leads to us and we would go set up a law office that wants Starbucks and whatever. And so we got more and more into that, and people more and more wanted these brands and wanted the price points that a big brand offered because they were producing on such an extreme level that they could be really competitive with price, which enabled us, the distributor, to make money and provide the equipment. And so it kind of changed our business model from being like a local roaster, craft coffee thing to just like a big distributor.
Yeah, okay.
And that was like a really mind-numbing process because over time, we just became a me too. Everybody had access to these same products. Everybody had access to the same equipment. So we had to really be better at service, speed of delivery, customer care, all of the above, because they could call up other distributors and get similar or exact same products.
Have somebody there that day.
Yeah, exactly. So we just became like super customer service oriented to survive that. And then as I got more involved, that's when we pointed back towards the roast in-house, manufacture, produce our own stuff business model.
And you do some of that right now.
Yeah, and that's what we're doing more and more and more.
You more and more.
Yeah.
Now, is that to help? Does that help with cost, or is that just like the craft?
It can both. The craft, the marketability of it, people trust it more.
Yeah, when you
because
can
you're
say,
involved.
yeah,
It's
you're
not
saying
just
like we're roasters,
Exactly.
like we take care of this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
They know you're involved. It's not just getting pulled off some random warehouse in, Texas or somewhere in the Midwest.
Yeah, I mean,
and shipped out.
as I could walk in and say, hey, I want a pound of
Yep.
Ethiopian, done.
Yep.
You're gonna roast it
Roast
right
it,
there in front of me.
Pack it right there, give it to them. So it creates a better relationship with us and again the consumer end user in any position they're in to build the brand and help them become familiar with us. And that was my big beef over the years. Was not only like, yeah, why aren't we bigger? Like 55-year-old company, we should be big by now. If we had gotten into like the manufacturing and stayed on that track, I think there would have been
Like some
bigger
bigger
business.
growth. Yeah.
Whereas we kind of took a different path of growth, and then it kind of led to like a patch of weeds. It kind of got out there, and you're like still making money at it, but it's like I feel like there's not a lot of longevity here in this just like distribution product. We need like our own line and differentiation. We can't just offer the same thing anyone else has. And so, yeah, we actually just invested in another roaster to just continue to up the volume and produce more and more. And we're roasting in Portland, which is a big reason why we acquired a company there. And that's helped our growth. And so currently, this is the goal, is to expand our ability to sell in multiple segments, not only business to consumer, right to the end user, but also other distributors. So we now distribute to like 25 other versions of Douglas Distributing. Or Douglas Coffee Roasters.
Yeah.
So that's kind of been that growth of getting off of one set of railroad tracks, not just like changing direction, but like we jumped onto a different set of tracks.
Yeah.
So now roasting, packing, and distributing to them, and then they go out and distribute our brands and our products for us in their markets.
Yeah.
So in Seattle.
And you guys,
and Pendleton. And
I'm sure you guys have talked about, like, okay, let's do a round, let's raise some money, something like that,
Yeah.
right? And I mean, is there anything that just, I guess, pros or cons to that you guys see, or just preference? I just kind of curious what internally when you guys, the owners talk,
Right.
kind of where does that go?
I think one, not having like a need for it right away. in that a lot of times like that round of funding is for like a project that's underway. Like we need more capital because we're going to hire 100 sales reps right now to go push this product, like in the software world or something.
Okay,
Right? And
yeah.
you need that money for like salary and then the office workspace and the environment so you can hire sales reps away from other companies that are successful in that same, software arena or whatever it is for product development, stuff like that. We did take out a loan rather than raise funding or bring on partners for our acquisition in Portland. And I just think I'd rather have control. And if I don't ever have to bring in an outside influence, I would prefer not to, unless there was like a beneficial reason for that. They had connections that we needed and it was a mutual thing.
Yeah.
But even when you raise funding like that VC or whomever has a say because they've got money tied up in it and their opinion matters. Yeah,
and I can't remember. I don't remember if it was you, Dan, but we were like with our company. We've had the same mindset for, since 2004. Like every time we needed some type of, maybe a little bit of money, the debt was much cheaper.
Right.
And less risky, just preference. I mean, it was just like we could bring, so many people have wanted to give us money over the years, so many people.
Yeah.
But we've decided let's just keep ownership where it is. We can, debt was cheap at times we've needed it, but that's interesting you say it that, because I think a lot of small business owners think that way. But you really, in the news, like you don't hear about Douglas and their success because there's 50 employees. I mean, but it's just as intriguing and just as interesting, like the same decisions you go through and why you do that versus some of these, massive companies that we have around us. But
yeah, and I think if time ever came where like for us, like it would make sense to do something like that. One, getting an SBA loan is a miserable process. Like it's crazy. The debt is cheap. Like you said, the interest rates are low. It's a reasonable way to do it. It's a difficult process. You can definitely get more expensive money quicker, but the opinion side of that and what you get with it can sometimes be irritating, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
But for us, like it would probably be if we ever needed to like expand on equipment fast and large, like manufacturing equipment and like so roasting, packing, filling machines, weigh-in fills, those kind of things. Even just small equipment, like a small coffee roaster is $50K. You want a big one? I mean, just exponentially. You want something that does 400, 500, 600 pounds at a time. I mean, set up, the afterburner alone just to like minimize your emissions and and then the packing lines and the weigh and fill machines, millions.
Yeah,
and
interesting.
Warehouse space and stuff like that. So that would be something where you would maybe consider that route. Or bringing in a partner that knew that side of the business better than like the small level we're doing it on now to go more into the manufacturing stuff.
Cool.
So.
Yeah, sorry to take us off track,
No.
Danny. I don't know. Anyway,
there's no track.
That's good. I know
What
that.
are we talking about? The train track.
Yeah, that's right.
Maybe on one track, another track. Yeah.
And how old are you? How old are you now?
I'm 36.
You're 36.
Yeah. So I've been doing it, like Danny said, since I was little, just working on and off summers.
If somebody would have turned Ron in, like, do you think he could have gotten in trouble for like child labor?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay.
That warehouse, especially the small one, that we used to have a warehouse off of 21st South and just west of State Street, and actually accidentally we got some new credit cards, and somehow American Express still had that address on file. We haven't been there since 2001. And I think Ron opened up his Amex membership in 2000. So I'm like going through the profile online, like trying to figure out, because it says all our credit cards have arrived. Like we just got this, new setup with Amex. And I'm like, where are the cards? I'm asking around the office. Didn't we see these cards? This make me nervous. So I look up the address sent to on the profile, and it's Richard Street in South Salt Lake. I'm
Old school.
Where did they get? And Ron's giving me a hard time. He's like, you probably put the address in there wrong, idiot. I'm like, oh,
yeah, thanks.
Probably.
Ron.
Thanks, Ron.
Sounds like it's time for you to retire.
Yeah. Sounds like I need to up that level of poisoning I'm giving you every day. I'm slowly trying to, get him out of my hair.
How much time does Ron put in now? Because you.
Oh, heavy.
Does he still? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because you put in a lot of time. Like I've worked with you. I see the hard work that you put in and everything that you do at Douglas. Is he's still going strong?
Yeah, Ron still. I definitely try to take on as much as I can, but Ron still. He's involved at least 40 hours a week.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe
So
more,
he's
you
still-
know?
Yeah.
Like we just moved buildings up in Portland over last weekend. So I was up there basically Monday night to Monday night last week. We got a new cool coffee shop warehouse thing in downtown Portland. Should be pretty slick. Interesting move though in the middle of a riot.
Yeah.
That was hard. A lot of bridges shut down.
Yeah, how's that?
It was gnarly, man. I mean, that was wild. A lot of boarded up buildings, and we were just crossing our fingers that nothing ever made it down.
You guys were safe.
We
You
were
guys,
safe.
okay,
everything
good.
was
Yeah.
good. But I remember just like I'd leave at like 9 or 10 after like putting stuff away at the new shop and trying to clean and whatever, and then like pull up to a bridge. And there's just like 10,000 people on the bridge. Next bridge, 5,000 people on that bridge. Next bridge, and I'm starting to get claustrophobic, thinking, "Am I gonna get across the river tonight?"
You're not getting home.
So yeah, it was wild. But like Ron came up there and puts in a ton of hours and made the
Okay.
move and stuff. But I try to handle as much of the heavy lifting as I can. I figured he's kind of earned it at this
Oh,
point of slugging it out for 30.
How old's Ron?
30 years. Ron 62.
62.
Yeah. So he's getting there. He's a young 62 though. He's
Yeah.
a
He's like a.
he's like a like
So he'll still be around
Yeah,
72.
forever.
He'll still be there forever.
Unfortunately, yes.
Yes, unfortunately, yes. He will never quit. No, it's great. I really don't know what. He handles a ton of stuff. And we definitely have our segments of the business. He handles a lot of like banking and like the finance side of it and managing all of that. And I handle more like employee, head up more like anything tech related with website and marketing and design and that kind of stuff. And then we kind of split time probably on like employee management and that kind of stuff as far as like issues coming up. It's whoever's available and has time to deal with everyday random crap.
Yeah,
So it's good.
I like it. I
But-
like it.
Yeah.
So tell me about. Let's talk Portland for a second.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys just moved buildings. You're in
Yep.
this new shop.
Mm-hmm.
Is the idea like it's an actual coffee shop? You're going to open up a
Yeah.
coffee shop,
Yeah,
have
it is.
a store.
Pre-corona, it was like should have been a quicker step. Now it's like it's affected so much of our cash flow as a business. I mean, our typical orders that we produce and ship out on a weekly basis is typically 2 semi-trucks full. So that's anywhere from like 20 to 25 pallets per truck every week is normal.
Full of
So
coffee.
that's 40 to 50 pallets between the 2 trucks going to different, Montana, Washington, Portland, Utah, Southern California, Wyoming, wherever the distributors are, wherever the coffee's going. So to give you an idea of like we had weeks where like we got down to like 4 pallets. So we were like LTLing almost to the point where it's like, should we just UPS this or like put this in the mail truck when he shows up
Yeah,
to pick
yeah.
up the letters, like.
Put it in your trunk, dude. Just drive up there.
I mean, honestly, like it got pretty ugly. We were definitely in I guess as a business, I feel like we're fiscally responsible to where like a couple weeks or a couple months of like really low sales, they obviously hurt, but not enough to like completely bury us,
Yeah.
which has been good. But yeah, we didn't let anyone go. We let there's been some people that have volunteered to take off like a day a week, just because they personally are like, yeah, I'd take off a day a week right now and let you save the payroll. So anyone that volunteered to do that, we let them morph a schedule a little bit, and then anyone that needs all their hours or full time or whatever, we've kept on.
That's good.
So that's been interesting. But back to Portland, yes, the building we got, it's a 100-year-old building. It's super cool. It's like an old blacksmith building, right in the heart of like a really cool new kind of emerging part of Portland downtown. It's called the Pearl District, and it's right across the street from a brand new refurbished building that Goldman Sachs bought for like $60 million, I think was the price tag on the building. It's amazing. It's just giant white office building, all painted brick. It's pretty sweet. So we look out our window at that, so hopefully they'll come across the street and get coffee.
Yeah.
We got
That'd
to
be
build
great.
out the coffee shop now, which comes with a lot of expense, and we're not willing to like put anything in our current business model at risk to build out the coffee shop to kind of present our brand up there without knowing that we're okay.
Right.
And so we don't want to like risk, not being able to deliver product to a distributor or not being able to pay an employee or anything like that based on future goals. So hopefully in the next month or two, we'll start, kind of remodeling the front area. It
Yeah.
was a tea shop before, So it's the Steve
So
Smith
it's
Tea
set up
Company. So
for-
it's set up for
Okay,
like,
customers to come
A little
in.
easier.
not in a coffee way. Like we need more power, drain, water, like some other stuff that like just you don't need as a tea shop that you need as a
Right.
coffee shop. So there's going to be some
So
fun expenses.
I've been watching this show on TV,
Yeah.
based in Montana.
Okay.
This is ranchers, right?
Yeah.
And close to Bozeman, Montana. That's kind of where it's based. And it's interesting. Multiple times in this show, a couple seasons in, these cowboys, these ranchers, they'll come into town, and they just like they scoff at these coffee shops,
Yeah.
right? Because that's a college town. Bozeman, Montana is kind of
Right,
college
Boz-
town.
yeah.
And I call it foo-foo. It's
Yeah.
it's just okay. Well, they have fancy names for the coffees, and and then it's like this one's like a slow drip thing, and it takes
Yeah.
you 5 minutes to wait for it or whatever. And very interesting to me.
Right.
I am very intrigued in process and craft and quality
Yeah.
and art of even just coffee. But I'm wondering, okay, so you open a coffee shop, like you buy this building, you're across from Goldman Sachs. Do you
Lot of pressure.
pressure?
Totally.
Do you have to get kind of foo-foo? And I'm not in a negative way, but is it
No,
like
yeah,
you got to be like kind of you got to cater to these?
You got to be cutting edge.
Yeah, you got to
Yeah.
cutting edge, right?
Yeah.
It's got to be totally.
You can't just go in there and be
this
like,
isn't like
"Hey,
black coffee
here's
with
our
a
coffee
leather
for the
chair
day."
and
Yep.
yeah.
No, we definitely, that's why we want to take it serious as we do this, because like right now, we could hodgepodge what's there. I mean, they left tables and chairs up front. They left their old kind of front counter space. I could be up and running in like a week if we just wanted to use what we had. Not going to fly there.
Yeah.
We want the brand to present right. We want
If you're gonna
coffee
do
to
it, do it
present
right. Do it the way you wanna do it.
We want to
Right.
do what we want to do. So hopefully by fall, we'll be there as far as getting everything into the building and moved in and ready to rock. And the building is sweet though. It's got like a little Zen garden in the back.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
a little fountain. I guess like previously, like this tea company, like companies like Nike would rent this building out for like upper management
okay.
meetings, and then they would like cater like a tea service or something, and they'd bring in food, and they'd rent out the building for the night. Like the building is sweet. So it's got a lot of
That's
cool
awesome.
elements. Got a big boardroom, so there's a lot of cool things we can do to help promote the brand and the understanding.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. So
Well, it sounds like you're in a prime
Hey.
spot
prime spot.
post COVID.
Yeah. Post COVID.
People need to come out. They need their
Fingers crossed.
coffee.
Fingers
They're
crossed.
dying to get out of their house
I think so. I think
and
people
to
are
get
ready.
back to getting their favorite coffee.
Yeah, I think people are ready.
Is Portland open?
Portland's
bit?
kind of a little bit. Definitely is opening. They've got kind of like some county by county stuff going on right now, based on cases and how they're mitigated opening up. So the rural areas, like your outside of major city stuff, is opening up faster. Restaurants are open, a lot of like to go still or outside dining, stuff like that. They've got like the third or fourth lowest case count in all of America.
Aren't we
so-
blessed to be in Utah?
Yeah,
I don't know. I
it's
mean, would you
helpful
think that? I mean,
economy-wise, for sure.
And it just seems like it just wasn't totally locked down.
Yeah.
They were cool-headed, not quick to crazy decisions. I don't know. Anyway, you mentioned that Portland. I
No,
just these other
business.
states. It's
Yes.
interesting here. I just feel like you hear about these other states. You think like this is we're not even experiencing what they're experiencing
No,
because
not at all.
we weren't that extreme, and we've done a hell of a job, I
Right.
believe here.
Managing,
Yeah.
for sure. And I think that would have been a different story for our company, had we locked down even harder. Had like some of the restaurants that didn't stay open and would not have been doing like to-go coffee, and like some of the convenience store and some of the avenues we had, and some of the businesses that were able to stay open during this, and whatever restrictions they had, kept like somewhat of a flow alive. And that, without that, we would have been, who knows, hopefully you could weather it, but
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah.
Weird. So, yeah, that's it.
Well, good for you guys. Sounds like you're
We're making it.
you're surviving.
Making it work.
Yeah, you're gonna make it work.
Just get
Love it.
Ron out of my hair.
Yeah. Ready to
that
go,
next
man.
level.
So where do we find your coffee? I want to buy your coffee. I can go get it at a gas station from the distribution side.
Yeah.
Can I get it online?
Yeah. Get it online, douglascoffee.com.
I can get it on Amazon.
You can get it on Amazon.
And is it packaged like branded Douglas Coffee?
Yeah,
So I mean,
everything's-
everything.
Yep, everything's
Right?
branded, ready to rock.
I can walk in off the street. You can
Yeah.
roast me
Walk
a
into the
fresh
office.
fresh pound right there.
Boom, ready to go.
What other stores can I get like whole bean at?
Harmon's, the store.
The
In like
store
Holiday and a
in-
Gateway.
okay.
Harmon's is another one. We're in all the Harmon's. We're not in like any like big like in like a Smith's or anything like that on the retail shelf.
Okay.
This kind of seems like a hard task that I haven't jumped into yet. Yeah, I mean, and then lots of local restaurants, businesses. Just look for the kid on the lion, you know.
That's right,
More
dude.
than
Look
likely,
at
that's us.
the kid with the crown on the line.
What
Yeah.
if I have a business and I want your coffee in my office?
Just call us
Okay.
and we'll set you up so quick.
Okay. Done.
Which
Okay.
it's good to like. I've actually in the last week taken more calls than I have obviously in the last couple months about like new opportunities and new businesses. You know, that are kind of like reevaluating, and some like restaurants that are looking to make changes. Now everybody's kind of taken a step back, looked at their business model, looked at things,
Yeah.
and so it could be an interesting. I don't know. Hopefully, we don't lose a lot of accounts.
Yeah. But I mean, this
But-
could obviously, definitely create a lot more opportunities.
Yeah,
Just
could
people
create a
taking
lot of
that step back,
opportunities.
evaluating everything.
Hopefully not
Yeah.
negative opportunities.
Positive
Like,
Yeah.
no, stay with us, please. Oh, it's hard. It's
Awesome.
hard.
Awesome. Good stuff. Thanks,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah,
So-
dude, that's awesome. Thanks for the info.
So the last little half, not half, but last
Few
little
minutes.
bit of this,
Yeah.
we'd like to maybe just switch it up.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to switch gears.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to ask
I'm gonna have another piece
some
of pizza.
non-business related
Please.
questions.
Those are my favorite ones. I was hoping
That's
it would
good,
be.
dude.
You know, I get so tired of talking business all day.
All right, first one, let's just start with something. Give us a good story here. What is the dumbest way you've hurt yourself?
Oh my God.
I know there's lots. That's why I asked you specifically.
Dude, so many ways. Oh my gosh. I'm super injury prone. I feel like I've grown out of it a little bit as I've matured. Maybe it's just because I take way less risks. But like on my mountain bike ride this morning, every day I'm taking my life into my own hands. I'm just thinking, man, I mean, I've gone over the handlebars enough times to know I need to be careful.
Yeah.
The most embarrassing way. So, Danny's known me for a long time. I was quite heavier set as a adolescent.
Okay.
So when I graduated high school, I was pushing about like 250, 260,
Hold on. How tall are you?
6'2".
6'2", 250.
Yeah.
Okay.
Big dude. I was thick
Yeah,
though.
you're bigger.
I mean, I get up and down the court fine in a pickup
Yeah.
basketball game. You
It
know,
wasn't
not-
like a slow, like.
Yeah, it wasn't like a lethargic. It wasn't like a sit in my basement and eat Doritos 250. It was
Yeah.
like a, you know,
I'm active. I'm an active.
I'm an
250.
active 250.
Yeah.
Why am I still 250 and this active? I don't know. Bad genes, something. But we did do, and Danny and I graduated different years, but we did a senior trip, which Danny probably would have been on had he been a year older.
Yeah.
But this
I
senior,
didn't make the cut on this
you
one.
didn't make the cut. You didn't graduate. We took a cruise down to Mexico, and on this trip, I got hurt so many times. So many times. But probably the most famous of this, I like ended up running a scooter into a convenience store, like rented scooters in Mexico. Bad idea. Promise me you'll never rent scooters in Mexico. That was bad. That was ugly. And then I slipped at a waterfall and split my shins wide open. They got way infected. That was bad. But the best one of the trip.
This is all the same trip.
This is all the same trip. This story, like, it's a bad story. The whole trip, A to Z, so many bad things. So we go to like the set where they make the Predator movie, and it's got like the waterfall that like Schwarzenegger comes down and he's like in the water and he's trying to hide. He put the mud all over himself, you know, and he's like trying to hide from the Predator.
Yeah.
So, and we were all fans of Predator in high school. That was like,
Who wasn't, dude?
watched a lot of
I mean,
Predator.
come on.
It's like, hey, what do we watch tonight?
Predator.
So we're like, yeah, we're going to the Predator set. It's going to be sick. So we all go out there. And mind you, like Danny and everyone else I hung out with was like a shredded 170 in high school. You know, a nice, firm, athletic body, abs glistening.
Firm. I like it.
It's like how, wherever we go, how quickly can we figure out a situation to take our shirts off? You know what I'm saying? We're playing pickup ball, shirts off. I'm like, why do we always have to play shirt skin? Can we just leave our clothes on?
We don't know who the other team would be.
Yeah, so hard to remember who's on your team on 4-on-4.
Yep.
So anywhere we go, shirts off, sun's out, guns out for these guys. And it was like my worst nightmare because I just didn't love having my shirt off, you know? So this senior trip had a lot of pictures of like 5-6 guys with their shirts off and then me with like maybe a tank on, you know, a lot of those. So So we go to the Predator thing, and there's this giant rope swing that goes out over this like pool, and you go up to like this platform, and like all of my buddies are going off, they're swinging out, you know, doing a little backflip into the pool, and it's like a decent drop. Like, I mean, I'm trying to remember, but like it seemed like it was like you swing out and drop like 20 feet, like a decent cliff jump, you know? And so I decide I get up there and I'm like, oh, these dudes, I'm gonna show them up. I don't know what I was thinking, trying to show them up. Like, I'm just an old lineman, you know? I'm just trying to get a kiss once in a while. So I hop up onto the railing, and my one buddy Ryan is standing there, and I go, dude, I'm gonna get up here. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, I'm going up top. That's the phrase. So now it's like kind of a thing. Everyone says, I'm going up top when you're about to do something really stupid. So I climb up like another 4 or 5 feet onto this railing on top of the platform to get more height.
Exactly what you need.
Exactly what I need. I hadn't even gone off this platform yet, so I was just kind of, winging it. And I jump out to swing out into this lagoon or whatever you want to call it, and I took none of the slack out of the rope. So I'm just free falling at a nice dead weight 260, 250, whatever I weighed in. I was on a cruise, so probably 260 at this point. And I just I'm like clenching the rope, just burning my hands all the way down. And as I get to the bottom, there's like 4 knots, big knots that have been tied to this rope. And I just start hitting knots and just belly flop into the pool. All these girls from our cruise had like gone on the same venture. We're all sitting there like lagoon side on the sand watching this. So embarrassing. Burned hands, shredded, broken thumb. Like, it was bad.
Everything.
It was ugly. Everything was gone. I should have just drowned. I should have just not gotten out. It was so bad.
Like when you fell, like we're under the water, was like where you just have a moment where you're just under there and like I don't want to come up right now.
Yeah, it was kind of like what was I thinking? Slash,
I don't want.
Where's like a rock? I don't want to
show my face.
Yeah, I just need to get under a rock as quick as possible. That was the worst.
That's awesome.
That whole trip though, every day something.
I love it.
Bad.
I would have loved to hang out with you guys
Dude,
growing up.
It's good time.
All right, so played football.
Yes.
If you weren't selling coffee, you could be a professional athlete. Would you be playing football?
Oh man.
Any sport you want, would you choose football or would you do something else?
Can I be any position?
Yeah, whatever you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Quarterback, professional quarterback. I would love it.
Tyler Brady.
T. Brady right here.
T. Brady. Okay. Who do you think would be the world's most dominant one-on-one basketball player if everybody was forced to play naked?
The most dominant
The
one-on-one
most dominant one-on-one
basketball player if you had to play naked.
Out
The
of all
most-
basketball players.
Of any
The
human?
world. I don't know.
If- like you
Even
could pick,
basketball player, just any human.
Man, there's so
Hold
many
on.
angles you could take here.
Yeah.
and at any age,
Sure.
just pick a guy at an age.
Yeah.
Dang. I can think of like 20 people.
Okay.
That's hard.
There's a top 20. We'll leave it at that.
I would.
Because
I
you
would
do
still
you
just-
remember? Do you remember the show? What was it? Along Came Polly.
Yeah.
You know, and like it's like he's playing up against that guy with like
Yeah,
a
with all the
bearskin
swords,
rug
like-
on his
That's
chest,
yeah.
and he's playing like close defense.
That's the angle I'm taking here is
Like there's got to be a lot of people like
yeah,
that.
there's a lot of people.
And he's
don't
only half
touch.
naked.
You don't
There's a lot
want
of
to
people you
touch.
don't
him.
wanna
You don't
touch,
want to
yeah.
touch. I'm thinking the GOAT. You could have MJ, obviously a dominant force, probably looks good naked. Not going to be ashamed.
No,
of
and
what's
dudes would
going
want
on.
to play him naked.
Yeah, and so he'd probably function very well in a naked game.
Oh,
but
absolutely.
Is he going up against somebody that
Like
he
a
doesn't
Long Came
wanna
Polly,
touch?
yeah,
Like
exactly.
a Long Came Polly, with the
Yep.
big hairy chest, real sweaty, situation like that. I mean, yeah.
There's a lot.
Do you remember?
to this one.
God, one. I think if I thought of NBA dudes, one comes to mind. He wasn't like way overweight, but just something about him. Vlade Divac.
Oh, I just
Vlade,
almost
dude.
said
Dude,
Vlade.
dude, when you thought of that guy,
Dude.
if you thought of him naked
Vlade
playing one-on-one,
Divac.
I don't even think Shaquille would want to even guard him.
No, that would be the guy
Completely
from Long
naked.
Came Polly,
Yeah.
dude. He would just have
He-
his
Vlade,
Yeah.
bro, just have a
Like-
cigarette.
'Cause you
out
don't
in his
even
mouth.
know-
let's play.
You-
know?
Just
You don't know how he's brought up. You don't know like I mean, dude, that I don't know. Like that was just kind of
Hygiene.
it was interesting.
been
I mean, but there's
questionable.
a dozen of those type of
Yeah,
guys.
I was
If you
just
thought of
thinking
NBA
Lottie
dudes,
Divac.
Yep.
Lottie
Lottie, dude,
Divac.
that's good. That's good.
We'll go with Lottie.
All right. Speaking of basketball, would you rather be the greatest on the worst team, right? LeBron James via Cavs at one point,
Right.
or you're on the
worst on the
bench,
best.
the worst on the best?
Ooh, best on the worst.
Best on the worst.
Yeah.
but do you
Right on
get
my
so hold on, you're on the bench and you get like 7 rings.
Yeah, dude, you get a ring. What's his name? Who's the guy, the redhead that played for Spurs? Bonner? Bonner?
Stephen Bonner, dude, whatever. He's my
Bonner.
cousin. What are you talking about, dude? Dude. When I play hoop,
Your twin brother?
dude. When I play pickup ball, dude. Anyway, a friend of mine, Britton Johnson, he calls me Bonner,
Does
dude.
he?
Yeah, that's like one of my nicknames.
Step
But
out and hit a triple.
no, yeah. Anyway, don't make fun of that
No,
guy.
not-
He's a
not-
ginger.
not- I mean,
He
he
got a
was
lot of
good.
rings.
But I get it. No, I
He
get
got a lot of
it.
rings with
No, he got a lot
very
of
few
rings.
minutes.
Right, I remember an interview saying, they're like, hey, you didn't play. And he's like,
Who cares?
I got a ring.
Yeah.
He's like, in 10 years, nobody's going to remember me. I'm going to tell my kids that I was the star.
Yeah.
That's right. I do remember that. Yeah, you go. You're the best player on the worst team. I think that's the right choice.
I think I like to be in control more than that.
Yeah,
So I would probably feel more comfortable
being the best.
being the best on the worst team
I like it. I would do the same. All right. You hate traffic.
more than anything.
Okay, so I know this one maybe. Would you rather never be stuck in traffic again or never get sick again?
Never get stuck in traffic again.
Traffic.
Yeah.
Done. You'll take a cold every year.
Yep.
Maybe the flu.
Yep.
Maybe COVID.
For sure. COVID.
Okay, for sure. For sure.
So you're gonna take COVID over traffic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
At my
That's
age,
a-
at my age and newly acquired physique based on
Yeah.
not being 250 anymore, for sure COVID. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Can I ask one? Would you rather?
Yeah, absolutely.
Would you rather? This is a infamous, more than famous, right?
Yeah.
From the Three Amigos, more than famous.
Yeah.
Would you rather? So, would you rather take a home run swing from Barry Bonds to the middle of your back, right?
Ooh.
His bat, everything, like his setup. He's at
Yeah.
home plate, home run swing, just right to the middle of the back.
This is a debate that we've had a lot.
Or Tiger Woods driver
Oh.
swing to the shin.
The back.
Dude, that's great. I'm a back guy.
Yeah.
I argue for the back, but I go into detail about it, which we don't have time for this podcast. But I take the back.
I'd take the back.
I swear, 80%,
Absolutely.
80 to 90% take Tiger Woods to the
That
shin.
shit, he'd shatter your shin.
Well, of course
Like
you would.
my
You'd
back
you'd
would
lose
be
your
flat.
leg, right?
Yeah, I feel like I could flex up the back. There's more surface area there.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? That is the exact argument I use all the time, and I get shit for it.
Yeah.
But now I got another. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no
we're,
way. That
yeah.
shin, dude. There's something about my shins ever since that fall in Mexico.
Yeah,
You know, when I
okay.
ripped them open. I've been there. Not
Since
quite
I
a
was
one
18 years
shin,
old,
but
my shins.
Yeah.
my
Driver
shin-
to the shin.
driver to the
Dude,
shin.
I'm back all the
No
way.
No way.
I love it. Would you rather live without the internet or live without air conditioning and heating?
The internet.
Internet, you're good.
Yeah. You
You'd be
get
fine.
rid of TikTok.
Yeah,
You're
dude.
good.
AC.
What a great
Are you
thing.
freaking kidding me?
No.
If you didn't have AC, dude,
Stay
I would be
cool and
dying.
I can read a book. Yeah.
Think of 100 degrees outside. Like,
Yeah.
you've been in your warehouse, dude. You're
Yeah.
going to be. Okay.
I,
All right. Hey, stick with it.
I want the AC. I don't want the internet.
All right.
I care
All right.
about the internet.
Okay.
Give me back to some paper invoices. Do that.
All right. Would you rather have, like, completely, like, we're Vladi, right? We're back to Vladi. Out of control, or maybe what we think of Vladi, out of control body hair,
Mm-hmm.
or the worst, just pungent body odor? But
So hold on.
you're not shaving this, right? You're not trimming it up.
You're talking like
You can't manscape.
you're a bear. I mean, you got
Like,
you're.
you
can't
are, you're not
manscape.
manscaping. It's either you have this out of control, like, it's coming out of the shirt type.
Well, then can you
Can you
control
cover?
body
Can you
odor
cover the body odor?
with cologne and
You could try, but it's the worst,
the
man.
worst,
It's
so it's
just
gonna be worse.
It's gonna be like a terrible mixture of
BO.
cologne and BO.
I take the BO.
I'm taking BO.
BO.
I'm taking BO.
Those
Yeah.
both would be terrible.
Terrible.
Because the thing is, like, you wax your whole body, dude. It's coming back,
Oh yeah.
right?
Yep.
I just remember a Seinfeld episode where Jerry shaved his chest and it came back even stronger.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I got two more.
Okay.
Would you rather have whatever you are thinking appear above your head for everyone to see,
Oof.
always, or have absolutely everything you do live streamed for everybody to see?
Everything I do.
Do,
life's
for sure.
Everything you do.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think a lot of stuff.
I could just like right above your head right now, like what a stupid question.
Yeah,
You just,
exactly.
I'm glad I didn't see that.
Yeah, but I can control my actions and
Yeah.
not be like, what a dumbass question
Yeah.
that was.
You really just killed that. You just killed that cat in your head.
Yeah.
Okay. I know you're not going to do that.
Yeah.
You just thought to kill that animal.
Yeah.
All right, two more. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay. Would you rather have chapped lips
Oof.
that never heal, or terrible dandruff that can't be treated?
Oh.
I mean, you're never wearing black.
Dandruff, yeah. Dandruff, and I just go for white
White
wardrobe.
clothes all the
Yeah.
time.
White
Only
wardrobe.
white.
I'm basically whited out today.
White. Only white. Okay. All right, last one.
That's a good call.
Would you rather have 3 nipples
Mm-hmm.
or 2 belly buttons?
How big are the nipples?
Yeah.
Just same
The same size.
Same size. You got 3 of them.
Well, hold on.
Or-
Like symmetrical, like 1 and then 2 and then 3?
Yeah, we'll say right in the
Or
middle.
like there's a
Right in the
nubbin
We're gonna
thing?
go right in the middle, and then your second belly button is just above it. Right? You got an inch gap. Belly button, belly button.
2 belly buttons.
2 belly buttons.
Easier to hide.
Yeah,
I
2
wish-
belly buttons.
You know, just hoist those shorts up.
Your shirt would have never come off.
Well, he's used to that. You're used to that,
I lived
dude.
a long time. with
Tank
no
tops.
shirt.
Can you imagine though, like high school? Like, hey, let's go play some dunk ball.
Yeah.
Shirts and skins. Shirt comes off.
Dude, I think you would be.
Third nipple.
I think you would have been made
Or
fun of more with 3
chubby.
nipples versus 2 belly buttons.
What is it Friends? Do you remember that Friends where he goes to get the massage and they think he has like they call it a nubbin, don't they?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
That was the
And
third
guy-
nipple.
His third nipple. He
Yeah.
takes it off with a watch.
Yeah.
That doctor, he's like, oh.
But see, when we're talking like when you say nipple, you're talking the whole thing.
yeah,
Like a real one,
yeah,
not
it's an
like-
actual.
Not just
it's
not just
1,
like a thing that
2,
looks like a
3.
mole.
This
Yeah,
is
No,
you got
no, it is exact.
yeah. 3 boobs.
Identical nipples. No boobs. Just
See, all you do with the
Well, I'm
extra
just
belly
saying.
button is you just pull your shorts up.
Areola, nipple.
The lower one gets the shorts pulled up over it.
Yeah, you
Nipples
can get
are
away
high.
with that.
Yeah.
Nipples are high.
You could make up a sweet story though about 2 belly buttons.
Yeah. Maybe it's a
You
good
know,
shot.
like there were twins, dude. I ate the twin when I was
Absorbed the
pregnant,
other
and then
twin.
2 umbilical cords because I ate the other twin. I mean,
I love it.
Double.
I think you
Okay.
could go there.
All right. Tyler Feulner,
Yo,
Douglas Coffee.
thanks.
Check them out. Get it online. Call them. Get it set up in your office.
Office for
They'll take care
sure.
of you.
Office for sure.
Amen.
Thanks, dude.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
You bet. Thanks,
Peace.